Welcome back to more political chatter, everyone. This 2024 election prediction. It's another updated one, and this time it's going to be Joe Biden versus Ron DeSantis. All right, so this has been a popular matchup among 2024 election predictions, and I really do believe that this has a good shot at being the matchup, Biden versus DeSantis. Now, you might remember, back in September of 2021, Florida's Ron DeSantis from The Independent. Florida's Ron DeSantis says 2024 run is nonsense as approval rating drops. Of course, his approval rating is now back up. However, his quote still does stay the same, even though he is popular again. It does not change. 2024 run is nonsense. Now, since here, he hasn't made another comment about running in 2024. And really, since his approval ratings are back up, this might have changed. So I really do think that DeSantis has a great shot at running. Plus, when candidates decline to run for president early on, it really doesn't mean much, because usually they do this just so that they could escape media hate and just hate in general, anti-campaign against them until the time comes, so they don't have to face all this hate against them, until 2024. So we do have the 2020 map here. We will be using this to analyze, but let's get started. Now, of course, Biden's unpopularity is down. We all know, Democrats and Republicans, we can agree on that. Biden's unpopularity is down, just because most people do not approve of his job. His approval ratings are down, and that will hurt him, really. California and Washington are two states that I think will stay in the solid Democratic column. D.C., Maryland, and Delaware, his home state, are not flipping. Three hugely Democratic states. Connecticut, I do think will stay solid. I mean, going to 2020, it went to him by 20 points. It only went to Hillary by 13.6. I think in a state like Connecticut, I really do think that Biden will do a bit better than Hillary Clinton. Rhode Island and Massachusetts will not flip, along with Vermont, New York, Illinois, Hawaii, and Maine's first. These are going to be the solid states. The states of Oregon and New Jersey, I think, will be likely for Joe Biden. Of course, 2020 was a blue wave year when it comes to the presidential election and many Senate and governor's elections. Biden wins New Jersey by only 15.9%. People characterize New Jersey is more Democratic than you really think, and that also goes for me. I did that too. Biden wins Oregon by 16.1%. These are two states that went likely for Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. She just narrowly makes New Jersey a likely state. It goes to her by 14.1%. And then in Oregon, Clinton only wins it by 11%. That's not a very good margin for a Democrat. Biden in 2024, I think, could be just as unpopular as Hillary Clinton, if not more unpopular. Ron DeSantis will remain a popular governor. As of right now, he is a popular governor. He might lose the teachers' vote, but really that doesn't even matter at this point. So Oregon and New Jersey, I do think will be likely for Biden. Simply, and the whole map is based off of his unpopularity and DeSantis' popularity. These are two states that I don't see going to Ron DeSantis, but I don't think they are going to go to Biden by 15% or more. I will point out that tilt means 1 or less percent margins, and then lean means 1 to 5% margin. Likely means 5 to 15%, and then solid is 15% and higher. Now, moving to let's finish up these likely states that will not shift away from the Biden column. Maine at large will not shift away. This is a Democratic, these are two Democratic votes, electoral votes, they really are. These are Democratic. And then really, as of right now, that's it. We will get to all the others very, very soon. All right, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana are not flipping. These all went solidly for Trump in 2020. I mean, he wins 43.4% margins in the state of Wyoming. And Ron DeSantis, who I think will be more popular than Donald Trump, will do better in these states. It's as simple as that. Oklahoma, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large. Nebraska's first district, and that's a flip right there. and Nebraska's 3rd district will all go safe for Ron DeSantis. I'm sorry, I said a flip. I meant it flips from likely Republican to safe Republican. Same goes for Kansas. It went to Trump by 14.7% in 2020. I think it's going to flip over that 0.3% margin. Definitely. Ron DeSantis will definitely do 0.3% better than Trump did here in 2020. Go back to 2016. It was safe Trump, 20.6%, 5.6% over the margin that it needs to become a solid state. Going to the state of Missouri, Trump won this by a solid margin in 2020, 15.4%. It's very narrow, but Ron DeSantis will only do better. And Missouri is a southern state. Of course, Ron DeSantis will do very well in the South. He will do well in this southern region. Louisiana and Arkansas will go safe for Ron DeSantis. Mississippi and Alabama also will, along with Tennessee and Kentucky and West Virginia. These will all be the solid states for Ron DeSantis. Maine at large, I don't see flipping. Maine at large, I do think will stay in that Republican column, that likely Republican column, I should say, as it did for Trump in 2020. Trump just narrowly, I think it was 5.6%. He won it. Well, let's see, actually. 7.4%. Sorry, I was way off. He wins it by 7.4%. I don't think it will go to Biden at this point in time, but I think it'll do pretty well here. Indiana, Trump won it in 2020 by 16.1%, largely due to the fact that his running mate Mike Pence is from here. But I do think with the decreasing support of Biden and the increasing support of Ron DeSantis, I do think that Indiana will go safe for Ron DeSantis. Iowa and Ohio are 2 states that I see Ron DeSantis doing very, very well in. These are 2 states that didn't shift much to the left compared to other states in the 2020 election. We look at some states, like the state of New Hampshire, that goes to Clinton by 0.4%. We go to 2020, it goes to Biden by 7.4%. That's what, a 7.8% shift to the left. It really is. Then let's look at Iowa. In 2016, Trump wins Iowa by 9.4%. It goes to him by 8.1% in 2020. That's a 1.3% shift. In the state of Ohio, it goes to him by 8.1%. Then in 2020, 8%. That's a 0.1 shift, which really surprises me. No one could have expected that. Watching the Democratic debates now, some people are saying that they could win the state of Ohio. That is not true. This is a really Trumpian state. So these are 2 states that I do think will stay in the Republican column. They are going to be likely for Ron DeSantis. I think we'll get to shifts later on, or flips. Alaska will go to Ron DeSantis by a likely margin. I don't see why not. Trump won by 10.1%. DeSantis won't win 5 points more than Trump in the state of Alaska. I don't see it. I really don't. All right, now. Moving on. Where should we go? How about in the West? New Mexico and Colorado, I usually like to do. I think these will both be lean let's look. 2016 will be our best basis. Alright, so Clinton wins Colorado by 4.9% and wins New Mexico by 8.2%. Shockingly to me, Colorado goes bigger for Biden than New Mexico. So there's a major shift in the state of Colorado. There was a huge shift, 4.9% to 13.5%. That's a 10-point shift, basically. Now in New Mexico, it goes 8.2% to 10.8%. That's about a 3-point difference. It's not a big shift there. Colorado does have less of a party-pledged electorate, is a good way to put it. So party-pledged electorate, in my words, is basically when there are so many people who are not willing to vote for the other party because they're part of the other party. There's less people who vote in party lines in the state of Colorado. And 2016 proves that. It really does. Obama wins by 5.4%. Then it goes to Clinton just a little under. Then it goes major for Biden. Of course, this is an overall Democratic state, as we know. Yeah. Alright. So, my characterizations. I'm going to make New Mexico likely for Joe Biden. And I'm going to make the state of Colorado lean for Joe Biden. Just because of his unpopularity, I really don't see progressive Democrats in the state of Colorado turning out as much for Biden as Republicans will for Ron DeSantis in the state. I do. But, because obviously it's still going to be Democratic. Never mind what I just said. But, it's not going to go to Ron DeSantis, but it's not going to be likely for Biden either. I think this is how the map will play out. I think DeSantis will do well in the Sun Belt. He comes from the state of Florida. He has the same values as these voters. He knows the climate. He knows the jobs. He knows how these people work and how they feel about issues. And voters in the Sun Belt will like that. That goes for the state of Arizona. I think DeSantis will carry the state of Arizona by a lean margin. At this point in time, I don't see it as a likely margin. It's not going to be above 5%. Saying that's becoming more Democratic. This is a state that, sorry I didn't update the 2024 election map, urban landscape 349 or something. I'm sorry, I know you're particular about that. Sorry, I forgot. Anyway, but, this Arizona's becoming more Democratic because, like Georgia, they are both very similar. They, in the metropolitan areas, they are growing. More people are moving here. And in cities, that means more votes for the Democratic Party. Because I'm not going to make it likely for DeSantis. Biden's approval ratings are bad in this area, and I don't see it being likely, but it's certainly not going to go to Biden at this point in time. State of Arizona, Nevada, I also think will go to Ron DeSantis for the same reasons. It is slightly growing, bit more Democratic, but saying that Biden had nothing special here. Remember how bad Hillary Clinton did in the 2016 election? Well, she wins by 2.4%. Instead of Nevada in 2020, Biden wins by 2.4%. All right, but there's nothing special for Biden. There was very little of a shift here. All right, there's very little of a shift here among the percentage of Democratic votes, and really, I don't see Biden doing well here. 2020, a blue wave year, showed that he couldn't have anything special more than Hillary Clinton. Well, if you can gather any more votes than Hillary Clinton, then in 2024, when he's 10 points less popular, it's not going to work out for him in the state. In Texas, Texas will go to Ron DeSantis, and it's going to be by a likely margin. I characterize Texas as likely Republican in many of my predictions. It went to Trump by 5.6%. In 2020, went to him by 9 points. I see it becoming voting more Republican, just because Ron DeSantis has this Sunbelt appeal. He has this Southern appeal. Texas Republicans will like that. And Biden, minorities aren't going to turn out for Biden as much as they did in 2020. Because what specific bill has he done to benefit them? He's trying to pass the voting rights bill. However, it's not been passed, and people don't care about if he's trying to. It's whether or not the bills that he's passing is actually benefiting them. And if it's not passed, then it's not benefiting them, and they don't even know anything about it. So Texas, I don't see going to Biden. And Ron DeSantis almost has the lead here over Biden. All right, now going to Ron DeSantis' home state of Florida. I think that this will go likely for Ron DeSantis. I think that this will be a likely state. Go to 2008. Ever since 2008, Florida has become more Republican. Obama wins it by 2.8%. 2012 wins it by less than a percentage point. In 2016, it flips. Trump wins it by 1.2%. Then Trump only increases his lead. In a state where most states, the vast majority of states became more Democratic, shifted to the left, Florida shifts to the right. Doesn't even say the same about it shifts to the right. Trump wins 3.4%. He increases what? 1 increases 1.8%. I think somewhere around there. I don't know. I'm awful at math. Can't even do addition. So Florida is going to go to Ron DeSantis. If Ron DeSantis came from the state of Missouri, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, really any other state, probably outside the South, I would say, I would not give Ron DeSantis the state of Florida by a likely margin. I really wouldn't. However, because Ron DeSantis is the governor and his approval ratings are through the roof, larger than 55%, 56%, 57%, whatever it may be, he will win the state by a likely margin. His approval ratings show it. Sorry, I have not characterized the state of South Carolina yet. It will be likely for Ron DeSantis. I'm going to give it to him safely, actually. I mean, going to 2016, it didn't even go to Trump by a likely margin, but it was close. And Ron DeSantis coming from the South, I think, would have enough of an impact to make this a solid state for the Republican Party. In Georgia, I think Georgia will flip sides. I think Georgia will go to Ron DeSantis by a lean margin. Sure, it's becoming more Democratic, but it's growing in population. However, Biden's unpopularity, he's doing awful in the South. Ron DeSantis coming from the South, connecting with these voters, will shift the state. Same goes for North Carolina. He comes from the South. He has a connection to these people. It's not going to be likely in the states of Georgia or North Carolina. However, they will certainly go to Ron DeSantis. State of Virginia, I see Ron DeSantis doing okay. I mean, they do have a Republican governor now. Sure, it went to Biden by 10.1%, and it's not going to flip Republican. DeSantis has such ties with Donald Trump. Remember, Glenn Youngkin won the governorship by distancing himself away from Donald Trump. Ron DeSantis can't do that. He is about as Trumpian governor as you could get. But Biden's unpopularity will have some impact, enough to make it a lean win in the state of Virginia. I think that New Hampshire would be extremely close. It's going to be tilt either way. Going to 2016, Hillary Clinton wins it by 0.37%, and in 2020 it shifts to Biden by 7.4%. Now, Ron DeSantis, I see being a lot more popular than Donald Trump in 2016. 2024, I see Ron DeSantis doing very well, more popular than Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020. Definitely. And Biden, I think he's going to be around the popularity of Hillary Clinton. And because of that, New Hampshire's on the verge of going either way. Because of that, I'm going to give New Hampshire to Ron DeSantis by a tilt margin. In the state of Minnesota, I don't see this flipping. I think it's going to be extremely close. I really do. I think Biden won't do very well here. I don't see it. I think DeSantis could carry it, but at this point in time, schools are a big issue. There's a lot of parents that will value schools. Ron DeSantis hasn't had a great history with schools. Minnesota is a state that's pretty cautious about COVID. They won't really align with DeSantis' policies. However, Biden is going to be less popular. Moving on to Wisconsin, I mean, this is going to be a Ron DeSantis state. These states are flipping because of Biden's unpopularity. These are states that brought him to victory in 2020, and, many feel like he hasn't really paid them back. State of Pennsylvania is going to go to Ron DeSantis, and the state of Michigan is going to go to Ron DeSantis, all three by a lean margin. I see no doubt in my mind. At this point in time, I see every blue wall state, almost every Rust Belt state, with the exception of Minnesota, going for Ron DeSantis. I don't think there's going to be much of a disagreement in the Rust Belt. I think most of us can agree that Ron DeSantis, as of right now, will carry the Rust Belt. So Ron DeSantis wins with 315 electoral. I'm sorry, I haven't characterized Nebraska's 2nd district. It's going to go to Ron DeSantis by a lean margin. Same explanation for all the other states, Biden's unpopularity. So, now we can end the video. Ron DeSantis wins with 316 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 222. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time.